All right, traders, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here for the afternoon session here on January the 11th. Just want to welcome back all the subscribers who are on the morning session, as well as those who just normally attend the afternoons. Good to have you back. Also, anyone brand new to the channel, just discovered us, or this is your first time attending, welcome. I hope you find it enjoyable. If you have any questions or comments, please throw it in the chat. Someone will answer, either myself or one of the other subscribers. We have a good group here, and everyone's really helpful. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. We're going to give everyone just another minute or two before we get going here. So let's just relax for just a moment, and we'll get going in 2 or 3 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and get going. Anyone who was on the morning session, I mentioned I had just joined a trade just before, probably like right here somewhere. I'll pull those settings up. So I took 2 trades, right? The first one I entered right here, right? It's 678, which is where it says I should enter based on a fair value gap. And just to give you a little flavor for what that was, it was here. All right, so I entered right here at the top of that fair value gap. It pushed through, stopped me out because I had my stop right here. If you've watched me trade, I always speak about how I like to put my I like to put my stop loss at the candle to the left of the one that created the fair value gap. So this one created the fair value gap. the stop should go the wick to the left. So the stop should have been here. But anyone who was watching the session, you know, I didn't put my stop there because I was concerned about the size, right? This was a 34-point stop. And I like to limit mine to around 25 points. So I tried to put it below this candle. And as you can see, this is the reason why I don't put stops below the candle that created the fair value gap, is because I got stopped out. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But one of the subscribers encouraged me to get back in when price was just kind of in this area and just trading sideways, a little small consolidation. He was like, yeah, you should re-enter. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? I actually should re-enter, because if I re-enter right here, I can still put my stop where it belongs. And I also can take a 25-point stop loss, which is the max that I'm comfortable with. So it was an excellent trade for me to enter. And you can see I entered at 16,777, which was even below. I got stopped out at 16,78. And then my take profit would have been at 854. Right, so a 34-point stop loss gives you a 70-point or 68-point take profit. I entered even lower than that, so I ended up with even more. And you can see I held it throughout lunch, and it was able to run the profit and get out at 854. Not only paying me back for the stop loss that I took, but also going to target. And so these kind of lessons, and I call it a lesson because I almost messed up and didn't have a winning trade there, just reminds me that in order to reap the rewards, there has to be some level of risk. And the more you can calculate that risk and get it in your favor, the more likely you are to reap the rewards. But some risk is always going to be necessary. And so in this case, you know, me trying to have a really tight stop loss made it where originally I was not going to be a winner in this situation. Being able to risk what was proper for this trade for the reward that I was asking for, you can see it was able to deliver. So that was a good reinforcement for me. It's happened to me time and time again where I've had a tight stop loss over the last 3 weeks, for those who've been with me that long, and you've seen me get stopped out, or you've seen me be 1 or 2 ticks away from being tapped in and it run away from me. So it's not all been peaches and cream and good situations going on, but I'm still optimistic, and here by being encouraged to re-enter at a level where the stop loss was within my comfort zone, I was able to see that trade play out. So I'm really happy about that, and I just wanted to show you guys the follow-up, since we were offline for an hour, and it did deliver. Yep. Matter of fact, I want to give credit to whoever that was, because I tried to look back through the video just a few minutes ago, and it didn't show me the chat from the video. So who was that who encouraged me to get back in? I'm sure I'll be able to find it later if that person's not on now. But yeah, there was somebody in the chat that encouraged me to get back into the trade and take it, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, this morning's session, there was several big trades. A lot of it was on the downside, on downward movement. We had lots of subscribers in the room who were short and were able to reap some of those benefits. I was not short this morning. I did not take a trade up until right before lunch. These two I just showed you here, the one loser and then the re-entry. But many of our traders this morning was able to catch a large percentage of this move down, even continuing down here. So CPI was released this morning. Let me just show everybody what happened, what the results were. So it looks like inflation was about 1/10 of a point higher than they thought it would be. So year over year is actually 2/10 higher. So it's probably rounding, my guess. But unemployment claims came in slightly less than what was forecasted. And then actually 10 minutes ago, we had the bond auction released. Maybe just refresh this. Okay, there we go. You can see how it compares to when it was released a month ago. And that's all we have for news today. latest for the week is tomorrow morning, 8:30. PPI will be released. So keep that in mind for anyone trading pre-session, pre-market tomorrow. I usually start in the morning at 9:15. So this news will already be released when we get on. All right, let's go back. Let me get rid of this long tool. All right, let me also take off the trades. Right, there we go. I want to also show, because this morning there was a question about breaker blocks. So I want to also show that this entry had a breaker as well. Oh, Luis. Okay. Yeah, it probably was. If you see on the bottom left hand screen, you can see that we're in a bearish fair value gap right now on the hourly. So let's just be aware of that just in case we see any push down. Right now, we're not seeing any, but just in case. Give this 5 minutes. Put it on a 5-minute chart. Unless we see a reason why we're looking for an entry. And then if that's the case, then we'll drop down to a lower time frame. Think about re-entry at 8:53. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So we were in this 1 hour here and we had the one below. So if I just put the 1 hour on the big screen, right, we traded down all the way within a couple ticks of the low here. And now we're up in this resistant area. We'll see if we can push through. And you can see it's already gone about 75%. So the bottom three quadrants, if you split this fair value gap into fours, it's already played through the bottom three. It's that upper quadrant has not been traded into yet. Okay, let's measure the retracement from this move up. Back, let's get a different one. Let's get the OTE. All right, not quite 78%, but definitely deeper than 71 in between to the lower end of this fair value gap. And then we saw the push out for lunch. And now we're just waiting for its next move. So I'm going to leave the hourly on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to shift the big one to 15 for now. Mhm. Right. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to the live stream. So far, it's going well. We're about 20 minutes in now. No entries, no nothing. We're just watching price now to see where it wants to go next. Um, if I had taken an entry just before lunch, so when we started this session, I walked everyone through how that fared throughout lunch, and it turned out to be a good trade. But so far in this session, we have not done anything. All right, not a lot happening here. I'm gonna switch over. Let me switch over and take a peek at ES and see what's happening there. Sit at the 5 minute here. Oops. See that as a target to move up to, and this one is a second one, and then here's a final one. 02, 14, and 27. Wow, almost evenly spaced at 12 points apart. I don't know anyone else who's trading ES. Do you have these? Is this the same thing you're looking at? Yeah, it's been short, that's for sure. It has definitely been short all morning. So we'll see. One of these targets may be what it achieves and then breaks down the other direction. So, yeah, we may end up selling off today, but if we don't in this afternoon and we start to buy up, I'm targeting this midnight value at 48.28, which is why I like these levels in between, because I think it'll want to retest the midnight open. All right, I'm going to bounce back over to Nasdaq just so we don't miss anything. But I did want to pull into ES just to make sure we were all on the same track and that both indices were moving in the same direction with similar price action down on the lower time frame. Oh, oh, the only question I asked is anyone else who's trading ES. I was asking, were you also targeting these three levels, or maybe just one or two of them? But anyway, these levels as we move upwards, or were you looking for it to go short, maybe at one of these levels? Okay. Okay, we're back at this fair value gap that was rejected from last time. We'll see how it responds, whether it digs a little deeper, whether we start getting candle bodies closing in the area or above. Those would all be things that we need to see if we want to continue with the bullish idea, since for the day, as everyone's aware, for the day, we've definitely been bearish, making a high just after the opening bell, and for the most part, just completely crashing down 250 points since. Actually, more like 300 points down. Yeah, definitely worth sitting on my hands for now. Yeah, I see somebody mentioning the pre-market low, so let me highlight that. Hello, welcome to the live stream, and where are you coming from? And also, how long have you been trading? Yeah, those pre-market lows are holding up. All right, for anyone who just joined, currently majority of us are not in positions. We're at a critical point in price action right now, so we want to see how price responds to this level. You can see the line that's been marked across. It was tested after 10 o'clock. There was a run up into this level, and it was another crash down for lower prices. We're now retesting that level again for the first time since then. And we just want to see how price responds, whether it's able to push through or we get a return back down to some of these fair value gaps, or potentially to session lows. Amit, welcome back, man. I'm good. I'm doing well. No, Rabbit, I didn't. I missed all of the downside movement this morning. Now that wasn't the case for some of the other subscribers. They were killing it, crushing it this morning, making big moves. I did catch the upside move during lunch. So that's the only trade I've caught today. All right, let me grab a smaller time frame and see if this cluster, see if we can see anything. Okay, let's get back on the 5 minute. Equal highs at this level, 905 and a quarter. Yes, that's true. The last 20 minutes or so hasn't shown a lot of movement. Has remained above this level we were looking at, which was the pre-market lows. We wanted to see if price could push through. It pushed through pretty strongly here, but it was able to retrace before the candle closed. And remember, this is just a 5 minute candle. It retraced pretty strongly. Um, Tried it one more time and then collapsed just before lunch, and now it's building back up to it. Um, so far, we have had a close above, but we had a close above over here too, and it collapsed immediately afterwards. So we're still waiting and still watching to see how it wants to respond here. Maybe I can drop this one. Yeah, Vivian, I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. They're looking for a continuation of shorts, but first we need price action to give us that indication and then give us the setup. Yeah. All right. Well, Zach, you still got 18 minutes on this one. So even if it is pushed through, we'll just see if it retraces before the hour closes. But I'm with you, Zach. Yeah, if it closes above, it may be worth looking at something else. Yeah, yeah, Malik. I took a bullish. I took a long just before lunch, probably at 11:55, somewhere around there, and then wrote it up during lunch. Yeah, there was some nice setups. I didn't catch any of them though. So the shorts, I missed all of those. I caught a long during lunch. Mm, okay. Yep, that was the one I caught, Malik. All right, almost at a quarter to the hour. So in about 6 minutes, we'll start looking to see if there's a potential macro setup coming. But also we're moving towards 2 o'clock. We're also start looking to see if maybe we'll have a silver bullet set up as well. So another 15 minutes, and then we'll be at 2 o'clock. No, doesn't seem that way. It didn't seem like the news presented anything. It was similar yesterday too. There was a small reaction, but nothing major. I did. Absolutely. Hey, good afternoon. I I did. Antonio, this is yeah, you were in the morning session, so let me show you exactly how this worked out. This is also for Malik, who just asked. So the original entry was a long at 781, and we got stopped out at 768. There's a re-entry at 775, and took it all the way to 854. 1250 just before this session started. It delivered the 1 to 2 trade that I was looking for. So that was what, 22, about 76 points, 76 handles there. Yep. Rabbit, thanks for reminding us. Yes, everyone. Tomorrow will be, tomorrow's a regular day of trading, but Monday is a U.S. national holiday. So I think there's trading in the morning during like the London session until London closes around 11 New York, 11 a.m. New York time, I think. But there will be low volume because there won't be any New York volume entering. Oh, okay. I'll put it back up. All right, let me drop down to the 1 minute since that's where the trade was taken. Yep, Antonio. So this was the trade. There was a long on this candle. It traded below my stop loss on the next candle. So it tapped me out. And then I sat here while it was consolidating here. Somebody in the chat encouraged me to re-enter. And I thought about it for a second and said, you know what, I should re-enter because this was the long setup. The long setup would have been starting at this fair value gap down to here. Right there. And then this was a 1 to 2 trade. All right, so 68 points there would have been the trade setup. But I didn't enter. I originally entered here, but the second time I entered down at 677. So we were already down here when I re-entered. So I didn't want to take a 34-point stop loss. I wanted somewhere around 25. So I waited for a retracement into the zone that gave me about 25 points to the bottom. And then I ran it to the top. So instead of getting 68, I got also the difference between the entry and my real entry, my actual entry. Oops. Yep. So this is how it played out. So we got out right here at 1251. And as you can see, price continued up, right? So anyone who was still in, if you were in the same trade as me, you were able to pull quite a bit from the market. Yeah, 3 PD arrays. Yeah, no. Malik, I'm Topstep. Topstep is the funding company that I'm working with, but I'm not finished yet. I'm still in. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you much. All right, we still see this little cluster price that has really gone nowhere. And if we go back to the 5 minute, these equal highs, that sent price lower last time. Price still has yet to reach that level. It's struggling. All right, macro time. Oh yeah. Okay, Vivian. The algorithm that delivers price, it's widely expected that there's a macro that runs the last 10 minutes of the hour and the first 10 minutes of the following hour. Some other hours are a little different, but for the most part, it's the last 10 minutes of one hour and the first 10 of the next. And so what we look for, or what I'm looking for, is for a market structure shift during that time. If I can find a market structure shift during the macro time, then I'm looking for some type of entry model that would take price in that new direction. Yep. So let me just mark out the time. Okay. So here's the time frame we're looking at. We want to look and see if there's a some type of market structure shift during this time. Right, we finally saw price break that level that it's been struggling with. uh, Deb, the 30-year bond auction was about 1 hour ago. It happened at 1 o'clock, and from what we could tell, it seemed like it didn't really do much. Yep, it happened at 101. So maybe that was what gave us the continuation, but it was this candle right here. Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, sometimes you have to go in and tell it to give it to you according to your own time zone. Zaid, the auction was 1 hour ago. Yep, and here are the results. So it came in already at 4.23 versus last time it was 4.34. Okay. Okay, let me see. Who was that who mentioned? Yep, absolutely. Let's see how everything shuts down. We got 30 more seconds, and then we'll reevaluate the 1 hour candle. Because the 1 hour candle on most of the indices, well, actually all the indices, was pushing up into a bearish fair value gap. We just want to make sure that it does close above. All three indices look like that's going to happen, so that's not going to be an issue. But I do want to give price an opportunity to do something else. All right, there we have it. So we did get all three indices closing above those 1 hour bearish fair value gaps. Now we'll see if potentially those fair value gaps turn into inverted ones. We get a retest back down to those levels and then continue pushing upwards. I have a target pushed here at the midnight open. That's where I'm expecting price to push. I saw that as a potential target coming out of lunch, even though it was pretty far away. But as you can see, price just keeps inching its way. It's not really giving entry models or giving us any confidence to do it, but it's just crawling its way up to that level. And in fact, that may be the short that most people are looking for. Once it gets there, then we see price crash again. Right. Everyone knows I'm big on confluences. So let's just take a peek here. Take a peek here at the dollar, where the levels might be. See, obviously you want to, there we go. See if the dollar wants to attack the mid level of this hourly wick. It's almost there now, and whether that provides a bounce, does have a bearish fair value gap that's being created now. It's not solid yet. It depends on what happens this hour. But there's also a bullish one down here that it could trade through to find a way out to push back for higher prices. As we go to the Dow into S&P, we're creating bullish fair value gaps as we build. But this is the bearish fair value gap I was just talking about. We wanted to see if the hourly would close above, and it did, right? And then the same over here. We had the S&P, and we had the hourly candle just completed, closed above. We also have the same, just like I pointed out, half the wick on the dollar. What about half the wick here? And then what about half the wick on this one? Right? And these are the same areas where I'm talking about for Nasdaq, where we looked at moving up to this same level would be, where is it? Yep, move up to that same level would be essentially where the midnight open is. And so this could be something that trades to and then breaks down, or it could trade back all the way up to this fair value gap, which is what sent price down earlier. Price couldn't stay above that level and was dropped. So I just wanted to highlight those things, since I'm usually in the background looking at this screen here, but I'm not showing it. All right, we have crossed over. Now it's past 2 o'clock. So anyone interested in a silver bullet trade, this is the time frame for that. We're still inside of the macro period. We have not had a shift in market structure yet. I mean, we did have sort of a break of the consolidation where it continued, but we didn't have a breakdown towards a change in market structure. Yep. I hear you, Brad. Yeah, you want something that's a bit more familiar to you and something that's more of a safer bet than trying to just catch a trend that's been moving for a while, but moving really slowly. Third payday. Uh, let's just put a measurement here just in case we get a pullback. It's something that we can look for. 21, 14. Yeah, sure. So silver bullet, first thing is you need to have your directional bias on where price is going next. So what's the next draw of liquidity? So you want to start there. Yep. So you start there with the draw on liquidity. Once you identify a draw on liquidity, then it will be, let's just say, for instance, we're saying this is our draw on liquidity and we're looking for price to get here, right? In that case, we're going to look for a long. So you're going to want to look for like a price leg like this, where it's pulling back, and you want to look for it to hit a fair value gap. In this case, we actually had one here, but the price has already gone by, right? So that's not the one. But you want to look for one that's in a discounted range. So between 50 and down to 100. So this area would be considered discount, anything below 50. And then a fair value gap. So we have one right here at 16,908. And that's if you're bullish. If you're bearish, then so far it's after 2 o'clock, it's already pushing down and creating fair value gaps above. So you'll want to wait for it to then pull back, retrace into one of those. So in that case, you would be measuring this price leg and waiting for it to then retrace back up. So then you can take that entry. Yep. But it starts with time. So it's between 10 o'clock in the morning and 11, or 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. There's also a London time if you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, New York time for London. I think it's 2 to 3 in the morning. But for the New York session, it's 10 a.m. to 11 and 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. Yoshi, I have a question. What strategy do I use? I mostly use ICT concepts, either a breaker block, the silver bullet, as I was just talking about. Let me see. I use optimal trade entry, which is just essentially a pullback of an area. So like, for instance, this, oops, optimal trade entry is between 62% and 78%. So somewhere in here. Since it has a fair value gap, likely you would want to take the entry below 71%. 71% is considered the sweet spot. So that's also another strategy that I use. And yes, I have back tested them. I'm almost 3 years into trading now. So it's taken me quite some time, but I've put in the hours and done the work. I'm still working at becoming a better trader, but it's happening every day. This program here is called TradingView. This is what I'm using. This is for King Miklo. I'm using TradingView, and these are some of the indicators I'm using. I have a 20 EMA, although I'm not really using it. It's just there. I have fair value gap indicators, so I don't have to draw the fair value gaps. I usually draw them, but sometimes I don't, and I just use the indicator. I have another indicator that just shows me where the midnight and the 8:30 open are, so I can always have them on my screen. And then I have another one that shows me where the new week and new day opening gap. It's like this right here, the new week and this is the new day opening gap, this yellow area. So every day it just puts the new one on there for me. And let me see, I'll show you. Yep, so here it is here. At 16:59, electronic trading it closes. It stops for an hour. They do maintenance and whatever else they do during the hour. And then it reopens an hour later. If there's a difference between the closing here and the opening of the next one, this indicator just tells me there's a gap there and I can be aware of it. So that's what I'm using mostly. I try not to use a lot of indicators. So that's what we have. No, I mean, I did trade this morning just before lunch, but no, I don't trade at 8:30 or whenever these news events are announced. It's just not my style, and I haven't back tested that style of trading enough. So it's for me, it's just worth it to let price settle down and then look for an entry. Mm. Also, our session this morning, the morning session started 9:15. News was announced today at 8:30, so it was already done by the time we started. This measurement back up. All right, so it did trade past the 50%. I see. I see. Look at this. I wonder if this is going to be the silver bullet today. The stop loss would have gone here. There's your 1 to 2 trade, 48.5 points. We'll see. I'll put this over here and we'll just wait and see if price gets up to 78, 978, or if it gets down to 905 first. We'll see. Ah, you're right on the head. There you go, Brad. Every day, 1% better. All right. Move back up to the 5 minute while we're waiting for price to push through that level. All right, macro is over. Let's delete these lines. We did not get a price shift or anything during that time period. We'll try it again in about 30 minutes. Stretch this out. I'm not currently in a trade, so um, hmm. But no, none of the indicators that I was looking at was pushing me into a trade, so I haven't taken one. Not this session. The last trade I took was just before lunch. Since the start of the new year, it's been a lot better. I will say that for sure. It's definitely been better. Price action has been better too. I had a rough patch this week. Tuesday. Tuesday wasn't that strong. It's probably the worst day I've had in quite some time. But yesterday was good, and so far today, I have a sizable win. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going this year. How about you, Dave? How's things been with you so far this year? Looks like price is back in the range of that level. So let me just slip back down to. Oh, wow. Okay. Good job, man. Way to go. Nothing short of amazing the past 2 year. What made the last 2 years different than the previous? All right, Al, welcome back, man. Welcome back. Yeah, we had several traders in the room this morning who said they were not trading today, but they just wanted to uh, join the room and just hang out with us. Oh, okay. So it's been amazing since you started. Got it. Okay. Sweet. uh, be careful, Al. All right, let's see how this candle here closes. Got another 20 seconds on it. Okay. Yeah, I've never used Ninja Trader myself, so I don't know much about it. But I can understand that being a pain. Keep stretching this out here. How many would I use if I had 550,000 funded with Apex? Okay. um, let's see. Per trade, I would probably do. So I'm usually doing somewhere around 1 to 2 on a 150,000 account. So with 550, it's almost 4x. So maybe somewhere between 5 and 7. Right, but you have some people that are using 50,000 accounts and using one contract. So in that case, it'd be more like, well, closer to 10 or 11 for them. But I would say if I had 550, somewhere between 5 and 7. Right, because sometimes I'll have a stop loss of 20 to 25 points, right? So that could be upwards of $500. Um, yeah, you wouldn't want to risk. Um, I mean, because 1% of this is what, 5,500. Yeah, I'd probably want to go half of that. So yeah, so that's a 5 to 7, just depending on what the stop loss was. If it was a max, like a 25-point stop loss, then I would stick closer to the 5. Leave that there for now. So far, it hasn't shown its ability to break through this fair value gap and close above. We had one breakthrough, but it retraced almost immediately. We'll need to see a stronger price action, and also we want to get above this new day opening gap right here that's sitting in the way at 955. Yes, caveman, you're absolutely correct. With Top Step, you do have to worry about the unrealized gains because they will count that against you. Alrighty, there we go. All right, everyone, a new afternoon high. We're now at that new day opening gap I spoke about. We'll see if we can push through. Right now, it looks like it tapped the 50% and immediately rejected off. All right, so this is about the 50% mark. This is close to if you were doing a one-to-one trade. Yep. If you were doing a one-to-one trade, yeah, you'd already be out. Let's see if this candle can push through and get a close above. Let's keep in mind we also have this level at 961 just above, which was a swing high on the way down at 10 o'clock this morning. Hmm. All right, everyone, we are halfway through today's session. It's now just past 2:30. So if you guys could do me a favor, okay, this one gets deleted. You can do me a favor and hit the like button. See if we can't get a few more traders in the room for the last hour and a half. And anyone who is yet to subscribe but is enjoying the session, please go ahead and subscribe to make sure that you are always up to date when our live sessions are occurring. Make sure you get the reminders. Um, yeah, you'll get a reminder for when there's a new session coming. You'll also get a reminder for when we actually go live. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you're enjoying it, and hit the like button. Thank you. Levon, back. Welcome back. Good to have you. Good to have you. Yeah, so I haven't taken any positions this afternoon. Um, hasn't been lot to take really, and hasn't been a lot of entries. We did get this, so what looks like to be the afternoon silver bullet that we're looking at now, but it didn't give me the warm and fuzzy, so I didn't take it. But I did line it up just in case someone else was looking for the silver bullet today. Um, we're currently just kind of in a range here, and we pushed up against the new day opening gap, but so far has not been able to get on the other side. And then I have a target that I set that I thought we might want to reach the midnight open, which is up here right at around 16,998, 997, that area. All right, you see price getting a little sticky here, not really wanting to move very much. Let me shift back down to or back up to the 5 minute. Everyone, if you can give me 2 minutes to just get a refill of my water, I'll be right back. Price still stuck in the same area. Just got a new 5-minute candle. So let's see if this one can develop a little better than the last. It's already overtaken the high of the previous candle. Okay. And there's, remember, we had the swing high at 961. It's the high of 10 o'clock before a big drop there. Okay, let's get back down to the lower time frame so we can see it with a bit more detail. I think it has one more tick to break through. I think it equaled, so we have equal highs now. Good job, Samuel. Good job. Brother Free, yes, I had a long, I took just before lunch at like 11:55 or so, and then I ran it through lunch for a pretty big gain. It was 74 points or something. One of the larger trades I've accomplished recently. Okay, still haven't broken through this level, and also haven't had a close above the new day opening gap. You want to see both of those things occur. Oh, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Hmm. Just want to set up our macro time frames that are coming up. You know, 1:30 to 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's moved. I mean, it's moved up 80 points. It's just been a slow grind, except for this one impulse here at 150. All right, let's see if we can now break through the new day opening gap and close above. Okay, we still have these equal highs here at 961 also. Mm. 15-minute civvy. Yeah, you're right about that. It's sitting right here. Mm-mm-mm. And we're sitting in the upper quarter of this whole area. All right, we'll see. We'll see how that works, Ray. Right now, yeah, I'm not looking stellar, but we'll see. Yep. Oh yeah, me too. No, Ray, I'm not in a trade. This is just a long tool, but I'm not in. I marked that up earlier for anyone who was looking for a silver bullet. And I said, well, this is probably your silver bullet. Just make sure your stop loss is it's down here. And then we just saw it kind of consolidate and ripped higher a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit. Yep. And we're getting close to our 20-minute window where we like for things to happen. Let's see if it rips higher and punches through that 961 level. All right, 250 it is. Let me move this out of the way so we can see when it breaks through. There it is. All right, equal highs are now gone. Can't wait to remove this level. Still a ways to get to that target I had. I have up top about another 30 points or so. Mm-hmm. You're right, we do. Um, Guys, this is what that silver bullet looks like for anyone who took it. Yeah, you're still in it, deep in it, 32 points up. Um, it's up to you how you manage this trade, whether you're looking for it to go all the way to 978 as I marked up, or whether you want something less than that. But either way, if you took it and you're holding it and you have held it, congratulations. You at least have secured 30 handles if you want to pull out now. But was there a reason I didn't take it? Yeah. So when this built up, I was looking for a price and discount. So from this leg to here, I was looking for an entry below 50%. And so we had this fair value gap down here. And so and it's at the sweet spot of an optimal trade entry, 71% retracement. So I was looking for this one, Al. I was more interested in here than for this fair value gap. And while I was waiting for it, right, you see price break down and close below. So this fair value got violated pretty early. But the one thing I didn't have an appreciation for, so I wasn't paying attention close enough, was the size of this candle, because this candle is the one. Let me just move this over. Right, this candle right here is the one that sets the fair value. I mean, that sets the stop loss. So it would have been all the way down here. So his price was retracing down. I was like, whoo, glad I didn't enter into this one. And so when it built back up, I didn't have any confidence in that because I always wanted this one down here. Um, but I will say in a lot of cases for the fair value gap, generally you choose your bias and you take the first one you get to. But having won that trade just before lunch and the one that carried through lunch, I didn't feel compelled to force it and jump in a trade that I wasn't 100% behind. But I did want to mark this up and did want to show everyone who, because I get questions sometimes when people ask, what's a silver bullet trade? So I just wanted to mark it up and say this is the one. Yep, exactly. Yeah, earlier in my trading career, I used to take every setup that looked like something that I wanted, and it just didn't give me the results I was looking for. So I had to become more selective. And through back testing, that's kind of how I became selective, or how I decided how I would be selective. And again, when you're coming off of a winning trade, you don't feel compelled to hurry up and jump back in. Or at least I don't anymore. I used to, want to get that feeling again. Now I want to protect what I just earned. All right. Anyone holding? Here we go. One tick away. Kidding? Push through. Go ahead and get through there. We got 94 people watching. Hurry up and get through there. All right, so the high says 98.25, which is also where the upper limit is. Okay, there we go. 978.5. All right, so there it is. It worked out. So another example of like I say, when you take the fair value gap on an entry, you can put your stop loss, the candle to the left, below the wick, and you should be protected if you're onside and it's going the direction you're looking for. All right, so yeah, so anyone who held that, good job, way to go. Another reason why I'm glad I didn't take it is look how long that took. The entry would have been, oops, this candle right here. So the entry would have been at 205, and the exit, and the exit would have been at 256. So that would have been a 51-minute trade. Similar to the trade I had during lunch, but I walked away. I wasn't sitting here watching it. All right, TJ, good job. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, this even though we see price continuing to go up, this is not something it's not something that I'm looking at and I'm excited to enter. And I say that because for every up candle, there's a counter. It just did this the entire time, right? And so while it made this this small energetic move, it pulled back. It went up again, couldn't overtake the highs. It pulled back. It went up again, got close, took out the high, pulled back, sideways, sideways, up, down, up, down. Yeah, this is not the type of price action that you want to take a trade in. These are the ones that you come back later on. You're happy that you weren't here for the session. And you, even though you saw price moving in one direction, it's not like it just consolidated all day, but it just didn't provide the level of price action that you're looking for if you wanted to take a high probability trade. I still think we may have this midnight open in play here. We'll have to wait and see. We're still inside of the macro period, so we have another 10.5 minutes or so. Yep. Mhm. All right, all is one. I know you were talking earlier about how many contracts would you use. Did you enter that trade? Oh, did you? You took a short here, Samuel, up at 677, 679 area. All right, everyone. We're in our last hour today. Last hour today. We have currently 90 people in the room, 46, 47 likes. If we could get a few more likes, anyone in the room who's enjoying the content and hasn't hit the like button yet, could you do that for me? Let's see if we can get up to 60. We can get up to 60 likes. Hopefully, YouTube will send us a few more traders. Let's see if we can't get over 100 for this last hour. All right, gentlemen. Anyone in a short, we're now retesting the new day opening gap. So now the daily candle is basically at break even. It's at its opening value. So from here, either the daily candle is going to be a bullish candle or a bearish candle. It just depends on where it goes from here. Oh, okay. You took it from the order block. Awesome. Sweet, man. Well, with 6 contracts, I hope you were able to at least scale a couple out in profit, or you're still holding, waiting for higher prices. $16,980. Okay, got it, Samuel. Awesome. Oh yeah, I forgot you're doing CFDs. Wow, excellent entry, man. If you were able to get in here. Yep. This is another reason why exiting at 1 to 2 for me, just through my back testing, has worked out, and it is a worthwhile exit because it allows you to recover enough profit from the risk that you took. But as you can see here, a lot of times price will deliver that and turn the other direction or do a pullback that you may not want to be a part of. Yep, and we're still in the macro period, so absolutely. Let's see if we breach this low here. Bring that back later. Let's see if it breaches the low first. You know what? Let's shift this to here. Okay, there we go. I was scrolling on another part of the screen, and we did actually take out these lows in between the macro period, which is what we were looking for. Now we'll see if it wants to give us a short setup, or if we just have a mere liquidity grab and then it's going to push for higher prices. Get rid of this. Right. Right now, not a lot happening. We're seeing a retracement now. We're pushing up against the new day opening gap again. It's a retest. I was hoping that price would push through and hit the fair value gap, and then I wanted to see how it reacted once it got there. We'll now wait and see if from here price continues downwards and takes out the lows it just created at 926, 16,926. We'll see if that's the next area to go to. Mm. Sweet. I can see. Yeah. Thanks everybody for the likes. That really helped out a lot. I know this slow price action here is not really exciting a lot of traders, but I'm still optimistic that we'll see something within this last hour. As I've mentioned several times before, that last 15 minutes sometimes can be all you need. As we saw yesterday, the last 10 minutes provided a setup. Last week, I think we caught 350 setups twice. So I would encourage you, if you're looking for a setup, to stay until the end. '50s. And I'm looking for price next to move to this level. All right, looks like clearly all it needed me to do was draw a line. And then as soon as I did that, now price is ready to move to that level. All right, there it is. So it's already taken out that level. 24 inches short on the fair value gap. Is that correct? If you're still looking for lower prices, you can. You absolutely can go there. The only The only issue I have with that entry is, well, actually, no, it's not an issue. I thought there was no wick. Once I moved this line, I could see it. No, you can enter there if that's what you're looking for, a short. I'm not 100% sure that we're going short. Yeah, I still got my target here for the midnight open. So what I want to see it do is I want to see it clips this low like it did. And now I want to see it go and take out this high. Turn us back bullish. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's just what I want it to do. Right. But if you are looking for shorts, like you have equal lows here at the 915. You have a few more swing lows before that, and then another equal low here. So that's there's several liquidity points below, if that's what you believe price is going to do next. Topstep does do it based on end of day balance. It's Apex that does unrealized profits. Got in with 2. Okay. All right. Well, we have also equal lows here. So that could be a super easy target for you. You say get in at 944. Right. This is 15 points right here, assuming it holds. Yeah. Sorry, William. Maybe I said it incorrectly. But yeah, Top Step waits until you have your end of day balance. So you could make 3,000 throughout the day. And if you lose your last trade and go all the way down to 0, it'll show that you didn't make any money that day. But yeah, Apex looks at your highest theoretical balance and they measure you based on that. All right. So for Antonio's sake, he would like to see it run for these lows at 926. Oh, Luis, it worked out, man. I grabbed 74 points, I think. So I made up for that short that didn't work that I lost. Oh, I'm sorry, that long that I had a tight stop loss and I lost. So I made up all of that plus the full take profit that I wanted originally. Oh yeah, I was asking earlier, Luis, were you the one who advised me to get back into trade? Oh yeah, yeah. I did see something about FTMO in the news this morning or last night. Yeah, that was a difference maker for me. William, was the drawdown rule. Because for the one thing I really wanted was to make sure it had TradingView integration. And from what I understand, Topstep and Apex both are allow you to trade through TradingView. So that to me, the difference then became um, the drawdown rule, whether it was realized or unrealized. I do know that Apex allows you to trade with more accounts. Topstep has a 3 account limit, whereas Apex, I think you can have 10 or 20 or something like that. Um, but I figure if I ever got to that point and 3 wasn't enough, then I would probably have my other accounts at another firm. So then I could, differentiate, diversify myself. That's the word, diversify my portfolio. So if like an FTMO incident occurred, I wouldn't, be out in the water like I am now because I am only going through Topstep. But if I ever got more than 3 accounts, I would look for another firm. I also think there's another company just recently that I just started hearing about called, I believe, My Funded Futures, I think. But I don't have any details on them. I don't know anything about their trading style. Oh, okay. All right. We've swept this high now, which is a good sign. Um, that's a good question, Al. I do know you have to first go in through either Topstep or Tradovate. You have to go in and first you have to link your accounts together. But let me take a look and figure out exactly how to do that, and I'll come back to you. 14. Wow. Okay, so Apex has a maximum of 20. Okay, cool. And I know sometimes they have insane deals of like 90% off and stuff. Hmm. Yeah, Luis, I had taken another entry. The entry that I re-entered on was just below where my stop loss was originally. So I just essentially just got back in where I was. Um, put the my stop where I should have had it in the beginning, but the original stop loss would have been 34 points, and I like to keep it below 25. But at that point, it had already retraced 10 points already, so I was able to take re-enter and then have a 25-point stop loss, and then it ran to target. So so it worked out for me that time. Yes, it is free with Topstep. All you have to do is when you register, Topstep will ask you how would you like to trade, and then you just have to select you want to trade through TradingView. And once you do that, when Topstep sends you your credentials, your login and password, you just log into Tradovate with those credentials. Um, Tell Tradovate that you want to use the TradingView add-on, and so then when you go back to TradingView, it's already linked together. So yes, to answer your question, it's free. All right, let me quickly take a look at this, Luis. It's at 11:30, 11:46 to 11:50. Okay. And I think a lot of people like to do theirs like this. So you want to see the sweet spot here at 6770. Okay. Okay. Yeah, these were my entries, Luis. My last entry was at 77 3/4. So I guess I entered around here. Then a couple candles later, it took off. Yep, but my original entry was at this green fair value gap. And then I had my stop loss just below it when my stop loss should have been further down based on I got it on the 1 minute, so it wasn't the 30-second. But I tried to do the 30-second, and that's what gave me a shorter entry, but I got stopped out because on the 30-second, remember I entered on this fair value gap, but we had this one right here, which I could have entered on, but I didn't. I felt like that would have been the breakaway gap, and so it would have left that one wide open. So there you have it. Swing back over. Let's see where price is right now. Get back up to the minute chart. David, you say, is it free with multiple indicators? Trading View. I'm not 100% sure what you need to do for Trading View. I have, what do I have? The Pro plan, or I got whatever the top plan is. Let me take a look at it. Give me a second. I'll do it on another screen. All right, so it looks like you can get, actually, I don't see the basic, the free one. Yeah, David. So if you use TradingView, the free version, it looks like you only get 2 indicators. The first level upgrade gives you 5, the next one gives you 10, and premium gives you 25. I have the premium because I like to use the seconds chart. And if you don't have premium, you can't use seconds. It only goes down to 1 minute. But Ninja Trader, I think you can use that on Topstep. Absolutely. All right. So other platforms you can use: Ninja Trader, Quant Tower, Tradovate, Bookmaps, CTS. Yeah, there's quite a few that you can use here. Ninja Trader is definitely one of them. Yeah, caveman. I'll get a Discord set up. Give me through this weekend to put it together, and then I'll get that squared away. Thank you, Luis. Yeah, it helped out a lot that it was during lunch and I wasn't sitting at the charts, so it was easier to let it run. Yeah. So on the free version, the charts is delayed if you're just watching it by yourself. But when you get when you log into Tradovate or you have a Top Step account, the data is then it's live data. It's not on a, I think it's 15-minute delay if you have the free version. So that's part of what you get through Top Step by doing the challenge is you get the live data. Yep. Yeah, yeah, no, YouTube doesn't allow anyone to send links except me. And so at the moment, I'm the only one who can send links. So that's what I'll do. If I'll get it squared away, and we'll give it a trial and see how many people like it and whether it's interactive enough, and we'll go from there. Yeah, William. So the $5 you paid yesterday, yeah, you won't need that for Topstep. But if you were just logging into your regular broker, you would need to do that. All right, we've had a bit of stalled price here recently. Nothing really happening. Thought why I was out looking to try to answer some of those questions that price would have ran away from me and hasn't done anything. Mhm. Yep. For anyone looking into TradingView and looking at getting a paid plan for TradingView, what I would suggest, because the best pricing comes on Black Friday every year, which is when I usually purchase my annual subscription. It's this year, I think it was like 70% off or something crazy like that. But what you want to do is, unless you absolutely need the top plan, just get, maybe the lower tier paid plan until November of next year, and then consider the upgrade. Let's see what we get. Let's see if something happens during the last 15 to 20 minutes. So we can go as far as 410 with a funded account. So anyone with a Top Step account, you have to be out by 410, but you can trade up until then. We'll drop these indicators. We don't need them any longer. Look, so thank you very much. Good to have you in the chat, and hope to talk to you soon. There you go. Hit the like. Mm. Yes, I agree, Al. I'm trying to get one of those indicators that maybe have two or three different things included, like an all-encompassing like ICT indicator. Or I remember once I wanted to have the 18 and the 9 EMA both on there. So instead of having two EMAs, I found one that had two EMAs already included. And then you just go in and change it to be exactly the EMA you're looking for in the settings. And so that allowed me to use one indicator and cover two. So yeah, you have to get a little creative with things like that, or maybe have two screens where one has a set of indicators and another have another set. I mean, that's a little more difficult to follow. But yes, you do have to get creative if you don't want to have one of the upper tier plans. All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes and then it'll be 3:50 and we'll see what the macro has for us today. Okay. All right, caveman. No problem. Yeah, give me to this weekend to get that squared away. We're off on Monday because of the U.S. holiday, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Yeah, you're right. This new day opening gap, this yellow area, this is the crossroad. This is the area. I mean, look at how many times it hit the new day opening gap here. Traded above, back down, up, down. So ever since 2 o'clock, it's been our area. This morning it didn't really hold at all. It just traded right through it. But this afternoon, it's been right there. But you're right. It's a ridiculous looking doji. That down wick or the tail. Dollar selling. Right. I haven't looked at the dollar in it's, probably at least an hour. It's not like me. Mm, yep. You're right about that. It is definitely holding. the dollar sales and buying the euro. There you go. Mm, let's see what this next candle does, or the next series of candles. The only thing I'm curious about is this candle right here. When it came down and touched this level, it made equal lows, but it didn't break through. So I wonder if it qualified as a market shift. Well, I'm sorry. I wonder if it qualified as a new low, which then made this the new high, which then made this leg up the market shift. Actually, we may not have to worry about that. This candle looks like it's ready to break through. New trader starting this month. Oh, wow. Um, yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think of where I would point them to start learning. Because I don't think I'm qualified to teach a brand new trader. Um, that's a great question. Wow. Well, I guess the first thing I would ask is, are they ready for a 2 to 3 year journey in order to be a good trader? And a 2 to 3 year journey is not just time; it's also time invested. So it's the hours within that 2 to 3 year time frame, right? And I'm just telling you, I've done at least 40, 50 hours a week for that entire time period. So I'm not sure um, if it can be done in less time. I'm sure it can be. I'm sure some people have done it. For me, that's how much time it took. And a lot of other traders I've talked to, it's taken about the same. But yeah, the ICT Went series is really good. I like the 2022 mentorship. It's just you need something before you get to the 2022. You can't just walk into the 2022 and just start going. because ICT is not really for beginners. Um, but the 2022 is something you could start off with, and then as you find questions, you could then search for other YouTubers who can provide. Like if you don't know what a fair value gap is or don't really understand how that works, you can go back and find that. But as far, yeah, when you start looking for strategies, I would point everyone to the ICC 2022 mentorship. That would be where I would start as far as strategies. Yep, T Trades has taken some ICT concepts and made some supporting material for it, according to the way he sees it, and he explains it in a lot of cases much clearer and cleaner to a new trader than ICT does. So T Trades is good. Let me see, who else would I use? Like yesterday when I sent out that link to the market structure video, that's an excellent one for a beginning trader to look at. Okay, yeah, Luis, I did the same. I followed the 2022, and then 2023, I followed all the way until probably the end of July, somewhere around there, and then I stopped. But up until then, I was pretty religious about each video he released, going and checking them out and looking to see what I could learn from it. Yeah, the one I posted yesterday. Yep. So it's like Stoic. I think it's Stoic Trader. I think is his name. Nice. Okay. But yeah, Stoic Trader. He trades, and then if you need some help with 2022 mentorship and it's just like a lot and too much for you, there's another guy who did like a 3-part series that summarized the whole 40 episode series, and his name is Dane Trades. Okay, yeah, I've never seen. Well, I know who Warrior Trader is, but I've never like gone through his videos, and also I'm not familiar with Jason Bond. Yes, William, absolutely. Audiobook Trading in the Zone. Please listen to that. It's on YouTube. Just type in Trading in the Zone, and just listen to it. It'll take you, it's like a 6 or 7 hour, but you can turn it on, 1.5 speed or something and get it done in 4.5 hours. But it's absolutely good. It's one of the best things. Um, Another thing, I'm glad that you brought this up, Ray. Tape read. Tape reading is a lot what you hear me doing, where I'm just looking at the candles and I'm talking about what I would like to see if the market was doing what I want it to do. And just learn to do that. It'll keep you out of a lot of bad setups, and it'll also teach you how to be patient. Um, Trading in the zone teaches you how to accept the risk. Tape reading will teach you how to be patient, because you'll see setups formed over and over again, and you'll start to realize if I miss it by a little bit, I don't have to jump in late. Or if it doesn't look quite right, it just looks 80% right, I don't have to take it. I can wait for 100% A plus setup. And I mean, it's just good repetitions to do it that way. And then after you're good at that, then go into paper trading, or or some places call it demo trading. But don't trade real money for a while. Like your first year, you shouldn't be trading. You should be learning as much as you can. You should be watching, and you should be with somebody who can help you along the way. So everyone who's joined our channel and is having a good time and learning from others, that's kind of what I envision this setup to be. You have a good amount of people that are confident in their own trading, and then you have some others that are 60-70% of the way there, and they just need some support to get all the way. Yep. Don't forget to journal. Glad you brought that up, Antonio. My first year I didn't journal, and my second year I did, and that's when the learning started to happen. Because I would go in on a weekend, I would mark up the charts, and I would type in what I thought this week was going to bring, what I thought the bias was, the direction, which gaps or which pools of liquidity I thought were next up to be touched. And then the next weekend, you could look and see how did the week play out. Did it go the way you thought? And if it didn't, what did you miss? Or did price just make an about face and now it's moving in the other direction? And how can you now redirect your futures so the next trades are better? But there's so much that goes into trading that's more than just the technicals. The technicals, you will learn that first, but then you have to learn how to apply it. And then after you get all of that, you gotta then learn how to get yourself out of the way, because your psychology will be in the way of your successful trading. And that's where the Trading in the Zone book comes from. Mark Douglas is the author. It's super old, but any and every trader that you've ever met knows this book and has read it or listened to it multiple times. Spend your evenings during the Asia session or the weekend, spend those back testing. And if you can get any time during the week in front of the charts during the New York session, then that's when you do the what we call forward testing, where you're just tape reading and you're hypothetically putting yourself into trades, but not actually putting yourself in the trade. Yes, definitely. We're done for the day, guys. Sorry, we went over a little bit. I just wanted to make sure that I was as helpful as possible to those who were seeking it. I want to thank you for joining today. Thanks everyone for being here. We didn't get that big push at the end that we normally would get. This candle here didn't break the low, so it didn't happen, and then we didn't rush to highs. So yeah, thank you for all of the returning subscribers. Everyone new who just discovered us today, thank you for being here. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:15 New York time. Hope to see all of you there. And then we'll also have an afternoon session. Remember, no session on Monday, U.S. holiday. But otherwise, I hope everyone enjoyed today. And I know I did. Cheers. See you next time.